It's Monday, August 22nd, and it looks like we have our W bottom that I talked about in the weekend's video. If we don't have a bottom, we will know right away on Tuesday morning or so. If we don't have a bottom, at least we have a well-defined risk. While the market seems pretty risky right now, it's actually a very low-risk time to buy because we have a well-defined risk. So if we go instead of going like this, we go like this, we're out, we don't lose a whole lot of money, and we look to buy back at lower prices when we have another defined risk. So I go over the Dow 30 every night. Here are some of the ones that demonstrate the W type of bottom that I'm looking for. Is first Boeing. Okay, here is our W bottom, the potential W bottom, and this demonstrates the higher relative low as well as a higher absolute low. Okay, that being the absolute price and this being relative in terms of this Bollinger Band right here, the blue one. Well, let's try and draw inside the lines. There's the blue one. So you can see that this price came way outside the second standard deviation Bollinger Band, and this price was this far away from the second standard deviation Bollinger Band. Okay, so that's what we're talking about in terms of our relative and absolute higher lows. Procter & Gamble demonstrates the same. Our potential W bottom. Again, this one has a higher absolute low as well as a higher relative low in terms of the Bollinger Band. Then Intel. Okay, so here we go with Intel. We've got a lower absolute low, but again, in terms of the Bollinger Bands, we can see that this price right here came way outside the second standard deviation Bollinger Band, whereas this price was not outside the Bollinger Band. Okay, the Bollinger Band is actually right here, and here's the price. IBM. Kind of the same thing, but gotta watch out right here because this 200 was resistance today, and we've got big huge volume on these two down days, and this huge gap right here that eventually's got to get filled, I suspect. But the stochastic's pointing down, and the combination of this 200-day moving average and all this break of support right here, IBM isn't the best one that we've looked at. Disney, again, potential W, and again a higher absolute low as well as a higher relative low in terms of the Bollinger Band. Okay. ExxonMobil, same. Utex, same. This one's really great because we've got our price right at support here, a very well defined support, so we know we can just place some kind of stop right here, so we know that if it doesn't do this, but instead it does something like this, we're out, we don't lose a whole lot of money, and we look for a better entry point. But keep in mind again on Utex, these stochastics are pointing downwards, so that means that the tendency is for the price to close in the lower end of the intraday trading range. So if this kind of like gaps up in the morning, don't go buying it, because chances are you're going to get a better entry point maybe later in the day. Alcoa, same. Again, this has got a lower absolute low, but in terms of the Bollinger Band, which is the blue one, we've got a higher, this one is way outside the Bollinger Band, this one is way inside the lower Bollinger Band. American Express, same, but we've also got this 200-day moving average right here, just like IBM, so I would be weary of this one. It's a major breakdown beneath this 200. It kind of held way back here. But again, there's better ones out there, but American Express at least is showing us this W formation. The potential W formation. Next is Merck. Again, potential W formation. DuPont. Potential W formation. Well-defined risk. But again, just like UTEX, stochastics pointing downward, so there's going to be a tendency for this to close in the lower end of its intraday range, but at least we've got a thesis that this has bottomed, and we will know right away if we're wrong, and we won't lose a whole lot of money, because if it goes like this, we're out, okay? If it goes like that, we're done, we're out. We look for a better entry point. GE, and that is just a risk management thing. Same. 3M. Again, here we've got a lower absolute low but a higher relative low in terms of the Bollinger Band. So while a lot of technicians will call this a breakdown below this level, John Bollinger would call this a valid W pattern, assuming we get upside on Monday. Now, if we don't get upside on Monday, it's going to make a real hard case. It's going to be a hard case to make that this is in fact W. If we get continued downside, on Tuesday, tomorrow, it's going to be really hard to call this a W unless we see some upside tomorrow. So we'll have a good indication of whether or not we're going higher, I think, tomorrow on Tuesday. It's a key day tomorrow. Chevron. Okay, same. But again, 200-day right here, which could act as resistance. So like IBM and American Express, it's not the best setup technically. Caterpillar, same. Again, with our relative higher low, but a lower absolute low. But again, we were looking for a relative low this weekend, and we're looking like, as of right now, we're getting it in a lot of stocks. But again, if Caterpillar breaks down, we know that our thesis is completely out the window, and we got to look for more downside immediately and look for a better entry point. Microsoft, we got the same higher relative low, lower absolute low going on with Microsoft. Travelers, same. Pfizer, nice potential W, and we know where we're wrong. JP Morgan, yeah, this could be, the banks were absolutely awful acting today, so I don't have a whole lot of confidence in this being a bottom in JP Morgan, but it's keeping with the theme of the price action of the rest of the stocks we've looked at, so that's potentially something to look at. And then again, another bank, Bank of America, and these were all sorted in terms of their performance relative to one another. So the first one we looked at was the best performer on the day, that showed this W pattern, and this Bank of America was the worst. Okay, maybe. I really don't expect this to happen on Bank of America, or any of them for that matter. So let's go back to my favorite one, UTEX here. Just because I'm drawing it like this, I don't necessarily expect, okay, this type of a move to happen. It could be something more like that, maybe, but I don't expect this type of a thing this week. So maybe realistically something more like this, but we know tomorrow if we get a higher high on this on UTEX tomorrow, we have a really good case to make that we've hit our bottom and we're free to at least kind of churn higher. Alright, so that's what we're looking for tomorrow.